Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. Now, as I said earlier, today's topic is talking about why remote work is nothing to fear. Okay? How can businesses successfully transition to a remote working ethos without putting productivity and culture at risk? Now, in the past few years, remote working has become increasingly popular with both employees and the employers. Now, according to Global Workplace Analytics, 3.7 million US employees work remotely at least half of the time. Um, Now, embracing remote work isn't right for all businesses. Let's just be upfront and complete and honest about that. But there are well-established benefits for both the business and the employees. Location independent hiring gives businesses access to a global talent pool. Lower demand for office space and can bring significant savings to a company or organization. And remote work makes it easy and necessary to hire self-motivated employees, and those employees waste less time commuting. So on one hand, you have the business saving money with overhead by not having to buy so many office spaces or none at all. And then there's a win on the employee side where there's no traveling, or there might be half the traveling, which saves on gas and wear and tear on the car. So there's a win-win in that element. So happy employees can only benefit a business. So how can businesses, again, successfully transition to a remote working ethos without putting productivity and the culture at risk? Well, the first thing is they can communicate as much as possible. That's number one. Remote work is possible because communications technology makes it possible nowadays. Tools like Slack, Google Hangouts, Trello allow team members to communicate, collaborate, coordinate, uh, no matter where they are in the world. And technology is a necessary condition for remote work, but it isn't sufficient. Now, without communication policies and management guidance, it's easy for remote workers to become isolated from the company, if you will. So I would advise, or I do advise, a lot of companies embarking on a remote working strategy to enforce a policy of regular communications with both formal team and one-on-one meetings, as well as informal online coworker gatherings. All right. Number two, focus on productivity, not time worked. The old-fashioned management view that time in the office is equivalent to time worked is an anachronism in the remote world. Managers of creative professionals and technical staff, like developers, should focus on employee productivity and not the amount of time they spend at their desk. That's so old school. And plus, these millennials and these younger people that are coming up, they don't like being refined. They like being able to work more loosely, and we have to adjust to that to harness that productivity. We got to cultivate that. Um, Clearly, again, that approach does not work for all employees. Now, customer support staff needs to be flexible at specific times, for example. But where flexibility is possible, productivity, not time spent in front of the screen, should be the measure of a good worker. Okay? The next one, get serious about company culture. If you look at companies that have successfully implemented the remote work programs, you'll see that they take culture very seriously. Remote workers require a different approach to employee management, and that approach has to be mindfully cultivated by the company leadership. Culture comes about through day-to-day interactions or activity, but one of the best ways to reinforce and foreground a culture is with content. Now, internal content such as employee handbooks and guidelines should focus on the expectations a company has for its remote employees, as well as as well as creating an environment of respect and autonomy of those employees. Great content can help increase engagement, loyalty, and sense of mission, even though the employees and managers may rarely meet face to face. Next, hire intelligently. Now, there's been a lot of extensive time spent on remote work, on the benefit. No, excuse me. I've just spent some time providing benefits on remote work, but there's no denying that some employees aren't capable of doing their best work without close supervision. So for companies that are serious about remote work, it's better to spot unsuitable workers early. Before hiring an employee, consider giving them a trial with some freelance projects. A substantial freelance project will give a prospective employee the opportunity to demonstrate their conscientiousness, if you will. Now, ultimately, in the future, it's likely that many of the most able employees in some fields will expect some type of flexibility where remote work is concerned. Businesses that are reluctant to experiment with different ways of working remotely like that may find hiring the best more of a challenge than companies that are prepared to let employees work remotely. So, in a nutshell, remote work is the future. That's where we're going. And it will behoove you guys who are still trying to hold on to the 9 to 5 sitting at your desk while you work in an office. It will behoove you to take a hard second look at remote because you could lose out on a lot of great talent by being selfish and stingy in that one aspect. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch these videos, to figure out ways to enhance and sharpen your leadership skills. I'm here for you guys. And like I always say, if you are ever in need of some leadership development, remote leadership skills training or coaching, and even some team building or diversity training, please contact me and let me know, and we'll sit down and put together a tailor-made plan to ensure not only your success, but the success of your team as well. All right? And always remember, great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
Whether you're a new leader who needs the building blocks of leadership and a playbook on how to be effective, a seasoned leader who needs to understand that there are two sides to leadership, or a leader who just needs some inspiring insight or leadership seeds to enhance your leadership abilities, the CDB Consulting Group has the resources you need. There are two key elements successful leaders have that unsuccessful ones don't: self-discipline and the understanding to constantly invest in themselves. So pick up a copy or the entire collection and start investing in your leadership today. Available at Amazon.com. Remember, great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?